So then we go over to the electronic kiosk. Now, this is sad. Here we have something that's been in place for, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months, a year. And if you go to the restaurant categories, for example, almost no restaurants have uploaded data to put information there for the tourist. And we all know tourists are going to be eating. So what I wanted to show you by the photographs is that this is an interactive process that the tourist, independent of the folks working behind the counter, can find information. And what's really neat is that at nighttime, there's one outside that they can use when the place is closed. And here's the caveat, the really unique thing. Out in the village, we have the new visitor center that the Forest Service runs. Your brochure, your rack cards are not there, but there's a kiosk there. So they do have the ability to go in that place and get the information. Well, the way it works is if you look at that first panel where you see a listing, everybody is there that's a member of the Visitor Bureau. It's not something that's part of the standard membership. It has to be part of the Visitor Bureau. And you touch on that button and you go to a page. And if you look at the one on the far right in the middle, you see that is the one for Sedona Adventure Tours. And you see we've got 2 big photos at the top, and down at the bottom we've got 3 smaller photos, and then we have all kinds of data where it tells the public about his business. And we even have a, right in the middle, a thing that's a special offer. Now the thing that's unique about this is that all we had to do was go online with a link that Terry sent us, and it was just like building a little page. We uploaded some type and we uploaded some photos. And so this could be used by any business, and they can customize it as often as they want, and it automatically is reflected in these 3 different kiosks. Interesting thing is if you go to the lodging side of the kiosk, which is the one part that's most used, some of the lodging members of the chamber are able to put, as you see this one that refers to a booking engine. This actually tells a tourist, by the way, we've got room tonight at the inn. And there's a telephone sitting right next to the kiosk. You push a button and it rings to that lodging, and they can say, yeah, I want a room tonight. I see you have one and it's $75. And this comes with the membership. This costs nothing. This just requires the effort to do it. And go ahead.
One other thing it does, because we don't have a printer there, it will, if you click a button, it'll text message to your cell phone the directions to get to the business you're talking to.
Yeah, so think about this. Now, this type of sophistication for our tourists to interact, and now we've got the iPhones and all this other stuff that's coming. If you think it's technology that you would like to ignore, I wouldn't, because if you think it's, what's it going to be like 5 years from now? And so the ability to actually use this function that the chamber offers to enhance your business at very little cost is obvious. Now, if you look at the thing that I put in the block, and I said, if you don't do anything, this is what you see. I hate to tell you, probably, I don't have a percentage, 80% of all the entries in the kiosk, which represents hundreds and hundreds of businesses, looks just like that. It's absolutely blank, no data of any consequence. Now, having talked to some of the folks, the volunteers that work at the visitor center, they're really frustrated because they want to send people over to the kiosk to interact, because sometimes they get 1,000 to 1,500 visitors a day in there. Well, they can't talk to everybody, so the kiosk is supposed to help. And then they go there and there's no data of any value. So I would suggest that if you have an interest in doing this, you have a very simple process. You email Terry and ask for her to email back to you the link, your login, and the password. This gives you control of your kiosk window, and then you can upload photos and you can put in the type and all that type of thing. There's also at the visitor center a television monitor up in the corner above the rack cards, and if you look at it you can see the TV, and Richard does have a 15-second flash video showing his different water tours, and that's something that he pays $75 a month for, so it is a bit more expensive. But these are examples of things that the chamber offers that, are, in my opinion, are relatively inexpensive, considering that, as I said, the visitor center gets anywhere 1,000 probably on average. They said during spring break it was averaging 1,400 a day. Right now they said it was about 600 during the downtime, but they expected once it got into the summer season to get back over 1,000. And those are prime potential customers of all of us. And then I'm saying that the Chamber's website, thousands of visitors every day, that's all I know, right?
Can I add something else? Visit Sedona gets 1 million visitors a year. If you're a small hotel, like the Baby Quail, which is the example here, we get 1,000 click-throughs per month from Visit Sedona to the Baby Quail. That's for $95 a year. To pay for 1,000 visitors a month in pay-per-click in Google would cost you probably about $1,000 a month. So you're getting $12,000 worth of visitors for $95 a year.
So that's the essence of what I wanted to speak about, but these are things that are free or very low cost that the Chamber offers, and I don't work for the Chamber, but the idea is, what the heck, why look a gift horse in the mouth? I mean, this is the basics before you spend the big bucks. You know, you want a rack card that really talks and jumps out at you, but these little add-ons, I think, can make a big difference, especially if your target customer is a tourist. Anybody that has an interest, I happen to have printed the Chamber categories so that you can study them to see which of these other categories you might fit into. You don't have to just stick with the one that you have. Any questions?